Hello, friends. I've been gone. Wait, I've been gone for a minute now. I'm back on the jump off. Yeah. Anyway, welcome back to Creatively Exposed. Welcome you. Welcome me. I actually have an appointment in like 30 minutes, so let's see what we can do. So, I'm gonna put the video in the show notes for reels. And my cousin actually had sent me this after I had told. I really just jump into this thing. If you are still here, welcome back to Creatively Exposed, a podcast where we rehumanize the creative one episode at a time. I have been given an inspirational video where an artist, a visual artist, is talking about the creative process and kind of like how we lose ourselves along the way. And we'll see where this goes. Overall, I think I have, the hustle and bustle has just it ain't even that, to be quite honest. There's been this like silence, and not necessarily a writer's block, but like at least for me, it's kind of waiting for the unfolding of my manuscript, which is complete. I should be submitting some stuff, to be quite honest. But I haven't submitted things in so long, and I just feel like I haven't been actively getting my writing on, right? Like get your write on. And I have been doing other things, but I think there's something to be said about living while I wait for the rest of this manuscript. It's a hybrid Afrofuturistic novel in verse is what I'll say. Like it's like partial poetry collection, partial speculative romance with some additional themes and things. And it keeps turning into something different, and sometimes there's this overwhelm that I have found of this idea is so much bigger than me. And I don't know what to do with that feeling. It's a new feeling. And so that's just kind of where I've been at. But I also think it's really interesting and really cool to kind of hear the struggles of fellow artists across genre, right? And so back to the video. So he's kind of discussing like how especially if being an artist is your main source of income, then sometimes you ride the wave of what works. You attempt formulas, you attempt doing things that are popular, trendy, etc. What does that look like, at least in the poetry space? Or even fiction writing? Poetry is like you start to notice what people get published for. And so I've noticed form, I've noticed kind of discussing your trauma is like the favorite thing to do. And many times, if it is done with intention and is done honestly, I'm like, do that shit. However, there is something to be said when there's writing that is done just because this is what's hot. it feels a little more hollow. It feels a little more lacking of essence. And this is just me. Maybe I'm just judgmental. Who knows? But it doesn't come across the same. The yearning is like bone deep. And what happens is you get lost along the way. You get caught up. He discussed like how it didn't feel fun anymore, right? Especially when you're on survival mode, which is definitely something I think I experienced last year working on my own and doing my own thing. Is like, this is it, right? Like, teaching so much that I'm like, I don't even want to teach no more. Like, cancel this class. Writing to write versus like, I feel the yumminess while writing. And so I think it's really important that regardless of our deadlines, and I can be saying this from a privileged space, right? I've gone from doing my own thing to being employed again. So there's a little bit more flexibility, even though I feel the same urgency. Like, I feel like everything's taking up too much time, but then I gotta stare at a blank page. So anyway, but to remember that just do shit and see what happens. And I think the best version of being any kind of artist is literally doing art in a way of like, let's answer the what if. Like, let's really fuck around and find out and end up in this magical portal of something I couldn't even fathom before I got here. Because that is the thing that somebody somewhere is like, I really wish this existed. And then boom, you wrote it, you painted it, you created it, you, I don't know, collaged it, whatever it is that you do. And many times, just in overhearing and listening and being in community with writers, published traditionally and not, especially like traditional and big pub, there's a lot of drama in there. You see the formula, the literal like a squared plus b squared equals c squared s, and it's like, I read too much young adult, I guess, and there's just certain things I'm like, why are we still doing this? It's been years, y'all. The whole I bit my lip until it bled. Like, do you know how hard you gotta bite your lip? Be so for real. Or I what is it? I dug my nails into my palm until I could feel the flesh. Girl, what? Girl, what? Like, people really ain't out here doing that shit for real. And if you are, comment. Send me a message on the grams. Send me a message on Twitter. Let me know if you're really about that life. But also, I think there's something to be said. There's an essence, there's just a flyness that is lost when trying to fit into boxes that you were never built to be in, right? And literally creating art out of anything, out of energy, out of desire, out of curiosity, out of just the compulsion to do so, is to create something that someone didn't know they were looking for. I don't like the terminology, nothing's been created, nothing new's been created under the sun. I think it's bullshit. There can be similarities, there can be inspiration, but like, no one's gonna create exactly what you create. We could all do a retelling of, I don't know, fucking Shakespeare. Everybody's, at least in the US, has dealt with Shakespeare at least once in their life at school. Everyone could do a retelling of Shakespeare. And no one, I promise you, is going to do it exactly the same. And so, if you have been lost along the way trying to run after the white rabbit, right? Like chasing what is trendy, if it doesn't bring you joy, look, if you're in the last chapter, keep doing it. But if you were just like, oh, this is what's selling, what if you hold out and you do something even doper? So what if it takes a couple of more times to be sold to a publisher? There are things that I know about my work that I'm just like, listen, if by the end of this year I do not receive a yes in a publisher, I'll even give to January. I'm going to self-publish. Simple as that, because I just know maybe it's not even that the publisher or agent, maybe I'm not 6 degrees of separation to them, and they just don't know I exist. I can't wait forever. Books fall through. Shit happens. Some arrangements change, and so I'm like that. Now, if you are querying or what have you, there are a couple of, get on the Twitter space. As raggedy as that place has become, there's still a lot of great information about querying, about shooting your shot at a bookstore. I saw that thread. I don't know if I saved it. But overall, I just really liked his video because I do the same. I really, if something isn't working, I'll use a different medium. I'm not really somebody who does all of my typing of the book on, I don't always just type everything. I started typing everything. I used to write everything down in books. Sometimes you can't find them, motherfuckers, and it's very frustrating. I have a couple of stories like that. Yeah, anyway, I'm feeling a kind of way about that. I have a completed story that I cannot find for the life of me. But change medium. A lot of times people will see me do things. I don't know if they're seeing me, but hey, if you're seeing me, I'll do something and I'm just doing shit and just seeing what sticks, but I'm doing it because I'm like, right? And I follow that, well, let's tweak it here. Let's do this. It's not perfect. Fuck it. Let's put it out into the world. And maybe you'll get a response. Maybe it won't. But I was just like, I just want to do this thing. So, my cousin had sent me that because I have released a meditation. And what's neat about it is that, I'm part of a spiritual community, and we would do guided meditations for healing, but within our community on a small scale. And they would say that they really enjoyed what I did, whatever. And I get told that I have a soothing voice. Y'all would know. I'm not really sure, but I'm not gonna say y'all lying on me, right? And so my friends are really stressed, and I was like, you know what everybody needs to do? Take a deep breath, right? Just everybody could just take a deep breath. So you may hear my mom in the background. It's just, she part of the background, y'all. But I was like, everybody needs to just take a big chill pill. And I was like, you know what? And so that's how I did it. I got some songs that I have bought from Villainous Beats, who has also created my intro music and wherever I've really had music. And so I'm like, I'm sitting on all this music. Let's put this thing to work. And so there I am. And then House Brian Ward was like, so what you trying to make this cover look like? Or I was like, oh, I need a cover. And we kind of just combined some things together and boom, the cover. I really like the cover. I put I sell crystals, so if anyone is new, I have a crystal business. For those who don't know, astrolizix.com. Also will throw that in the show notes. And I got more pictures of crystals than I got pictures of myself. And I was like, I'm gonna put these mofos to work. And so there's a lapis tree. It's lapis lazuli, and it's blue. It's dark blue. So for anyone who hasn't seen my album cover, I'm definitely gonna put it there. It's called Lazuli Chill, and a picture of the sky. I have so many of those. Don't we have so many of those? Who else is a sky picture taking person? And so, you know, I was just like, I just wanted to feel like empowering, but also like, right? Like really just feeling affirmed. So I hope you give it a try, you know, and see if you like it. Share it with a friend, tell a homie, share it with a homie. And it just felt like something right to do, and therefore, right? Have I ever made a meditation like that recorded? No. I used some of the editing skills that I've used for the podcast. I don't be editing a lot, and I probably shouldn't even be moving this much. But when I do get into my editing bag, I could do some things, which is really great. And I'm really excited and proud of it. And I just answered my what if and was like, let's see what happens. But I also feel like my therapist had told me this, and if you're not new here, you've probably hear me say it, is find awe in your everyday. And I think that this was one of the moments. Just like kind of feverishly working on something because you're like, oh, this is new, this is fun, this is cool. Other thing that I haven't done it in a minute, but is playing around with like DJing. And also I think I'm in a point where I'm looking for more ways to share myself in art with people, but not in a way where anyone can extract from me. And to make that clear is like, sometimes the oversharing of information, I'm also really big into astrology. Sometimes giving too much of knowledge or things that excite you, at least for me, sometimes I get tired of just teaching, like being in teaching mode all the time, or just not exactly having time to myself to kind of just be. And that's just like, there's a whole range of stuff going on. And so I'm just looking for creative ways to be in community, but not like always physically be in community. And so, like I want to cheerlead every single person, but I don't have the energy to do that anymore. And so that's also what I hope my Lazuli Chill offers to people. It's definitely like a lo-fi hip-hop kind of beat situation as I also write these things. And for anyone who is local to South Florida, I am teaching a 3-part series. We are on part 2 at MOCA Museum in North Miami. And this Saturday, if you are listening, today is Wednesday, July 10. Probably gonna post this tomorrow. And that's the other thing. I'm not using Anchor because that's dead, and Spotify for podcasters is not that girl for me. And so I also have to like additionally add all of like the intro, the outro, the things. So that adds to kind of like me composing podcasts is slightly less easy, just slightly. Anyway, MOCA North Miami, I'm doing a writer series. It's kind of like poetry, but like you don't have to be a poet. And we're discussing a self-portrait on possibility. And so if you are interested in that, also check the show notes. So, and if you have like a homie that's in South Florida, please don't be a weirdo and just come and vibe. I like to create safe spaces, and so that is what we will do. And for anyone who's kind of chasing the bag, you can speed walk. Do not need to run. Because if it's running away from you, that might not be the bag for you, right? Maybe you need to cultivate the bag. Maybe you need to world build the bag. Maybe you need to manifest the bag. Maybe the bag has been waiting for you all this time, but you are the one running. I don't know. The trends will only last so long. There are books that are evergreen because what? Just like how Toni Morrison said, I was looking for a book and I could not find it. So I decided to write it myself. That is the energy, right? Like, there are worlds that I want that I know I won't find. There are mythologies that are just now coming into quote unquote popularity. There's not enough Haitian stuff. There's not enough Puerto Rican stuff. And there's definitely not many of them combined, if any, right? I haven't seen every book in the world, but that's the vibe I'm on. And so I'm just, not even just, I want to share the vibe and the dreams and the, I don't know, the cool shit that is the worlds that I'm building in the way that I want to build them. Sometimes you can edit stuff, but I don't want to be edited out of my own book. I don't want it to sound like someone else wrote it because they made me like overly refine my work, right? There's refining and there's erasing. We're not about the latter half. There is puliendo, right? Like there's sharpening the sword. But you know, there's a lot more growth for me to do. But there's also a lot of boundaries that I will be putting around my own work. Develop me further, right? I can't develop and grow as an artist if I'm following a trend, because that means that I am on a formula, that I have put myself in a box, when instead of it, oh, nothing new under the sun, it's more of like, no, I'm learning, I'm living, and I'm adding the little nuances and nuggets of the beautiful work that I have encountered that have taught me, wow, I can do something of my own like this in my own version, right? Maybe it's better. Maybe it's just as awesome. Maybe it's not as better, but to me it's dope. And that is enough. Form is cool. Talking about your truth, hard but dope. But if that's not what I wish to do, there has to be a space for me out there. And if not, you carve it, right? This is specifically me talking to us. As in Kendrick Lamar, us. We don't always have tables to be offered to sit down at, right? And even the ones that we do, we're still kind of in the outer layer table. Yeah, fuck that. Period. And it's not don't get traditionally published, but it's like carve your way through it all. Let's amplify possibility. And we can only do that through our imagining. We can only do that through thinking of alternatives, getting traditionally published, self-publishing, combining the two, doing alternate stuff. Because a lot of the traditionally published authors, there's something that came out about how supposedly Black books don't sell in the subscription boxes. Who are you trying to sell the book to? Right? How are you marketing said book? Are you even putting in the money to market the book? You know how I find out about Black, Afro-Latino, Haitian books? I barely find Caribbean books. Book talks. Twitter, Bookstagram people. I don't know how that's called. Book Twitter. People who share Asian books. So Asian books are some of my favorite worlds. What? Carve our own spaces. We can only do that by following what feeds our creative soul and spirit. It may sound so intangible or just like, this is not practical. Creativity is not practicality. It's just not. There is the business aspect. Cool, just don't get caught up. Don't get lost. Because many of the people who enjoy your work are following your journey because they enjoy your mode of self-discovery. Even when you get lost along the way, right? Try all the different stuff. I've painted things. I'm doing a meditation. I just do whatever I feel called, and thankfully I can. Now test it out, and if the shit works, I'm gonna keep going. If it don't, I'm never doing it again. And that is the role of us as artists. If nothing is inspiring you, try something else. Or try living, right? We're not meant to be uniform, compliant, the same. If you find yourself in a room where everyone sounds similar or to what you're doing and it's not feeding anything, you're always welcome to try a different door. Keep learning, my friends. I am working on so many things, but definitely check out MOCA NOMI. The last class will be August 10th, so don't say I didn't warn you. And check me out on the social waves. I'm posting a little less these days because the algorithm sucks, period. But my work will be coming out in different places, so stay tuned. I am so excited about the anthologies that I am in. I don't know when they'll be published, probably next year. But I'm working, and so I hope y'all are putting in this work, because this is a season that we put in work. The world is burning, and this is when we get to work. Shout out to, I think the name, Toni Morrison's friend was Peter, and Peter was the one who was like, nah, you're angry and you're in despair. That's not what we do here. When the world is burning, we get to work. Be it that we are witnessing, we are documenting, we are archiving, we are dreaming, we are spell working, we are manifesting, we are creating. Carve out possibility, y'all. And do not forget that you are magic. No te olvides que eres magia. Pas oublier ou c'est magique. I will see y'all next time. Don't even know when that is, really. But hopefully it's at least once a month. I might get back into the swing of things. I felt like I didn't have much to talk about. But here we are. Thank you, as always, for listening.